Take off the Luna veil, Iris. Whitehaven has chosen someone else. Logan Ashford's voice cut through the White Lantern Hall just as the first snow of winter drifted beneath its open arches. Iris Whittaker stood before the winter bell in the ceremonial gown her mother had once embroidered by hand. One palm hovered above the silver rope she had been told to pull when Whitehaven accepted her as Luna. She had imagined that sound for years. Instead, there was only silence. Across the hall, beneath the carved northern crest, Logan stood beside another woman. Paige. Iris's younger cousin wore a silver circlet and the moon-white mantle meant for Whitehaven's Luna. For one heartbeat, Iris could not feel the floor beneath her feet. "You asked me to stand here," she said. Logan's amber eyes remained disturbingly calm. "I asked because I believed you could serve this pack." His gaze moved over her as though evaluating something that had already disappointed him. "I was wrong. Before we continue, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you believe in courage and destiny, hit like and subscribe. These stories remind us, love finds the broken." Now back to Iris. Chancellor Conrad Vale stepped forward carrying a parchment sealed in black wax. "Read this before the witnesses," he said. "Then surrender the veil. The matter can still end with dignity." Iris accepted the parchment. The first lines blurred beneath her eyes. She had concealed weakness. She had deceived the Alpha Lord. She voluntarily surrendered all claim to Whitehaven. Her fingers tightened. "None of this is true." Conrad barely blinked. Truth is rarely as useful as order. A chill colder than the snow moved through her. Diane Whittaker rose from the family bench. The woman had raised Iris after her mother Eliza disappeared. She had taught Iris old winter prayers, family histories, the names of every household that depended on Whitehaven. Now Diane could not meet her eyes. "Read it," she whispered. "The council will leave the Whittaker estate untouched." Iris stared at her. "You knew." Diane said nothing. That silence hurt worse than Logan's rejection. Iris looked at Paige. "Did you know?" Paige's hand rose toward the silver circlet. "I was told you had agreed to step aside." "Did you ask me?" Paige lowered her gaze. "No, of course she had not." Logan gestured toward the winter bell. "Do not make this more difficult than necessary." Iris looked at him. Once, he had walked beside her beneath these same arches and promised that when he became Alpha Lord, he would never let tradition become cruelty. Now hundreds of witnesses waited for her to kneel so cruelty could call itself tradition. She remembered something her mother used to say while polishing the winter bell. "Metal remembers the hands that touch it. Snow remembers the words powerful people wish to bury." Iris placed the confession beside the bell. "I will not sign a lie." A murmur moved through the hall. For the first time, Conrad's expression hardened. He opened a second decree. "Then the silent mile law applies. A rejected Luna who refuses lawful release must remain beyond the northern gate until dawn. If Whitehaven does not call her home before first light, her name is removed from the pack record." Elder Walter Ames stood from the neutral witness row. That law was created to allow reconciliation. Conrad did not turn. "The council recognizes the current wording." Walter's jaw tightened. Iris looked toward Logan. Some foolish piece of her still waited. For an objection. For regret. For one sign that the man she had loved remained somewhere behind those cold eyes. He gave her nothing. So Iris reached behind her neck. She removed the Luna veil herself. Then she laid it at the base of the winter bell. "I will walk," she said quietly. Her gaze settled on Logan. "But no one here will ever say I chose this." The northern gates opened. Snow swallowed her. Nearly a mile beyond Whitehaven stood the silent marker. A narrow pillar of gray stone surrounded by open wilderness. That was where they left her. No fire. No shelter. Only a thin ceremonial cloak over a gown never made for winter. The guards rode away. The gates closed behind them. Iris stood alone. At first, anger kept her warm. Then her fingers began to lose feeling. Wind tore through her hair. Snow gathered along her lashes. She wrapped both arms around herself and looked toward the wall she had called home since childhood. No lantern appeared. No gate reopened. Nothing. Then something whispered beneath her feet. Iris froze. The sound came again. Not wind. Words. She lowered her head. A voice rose through the snow. Conrad's. Keep her alive until dawn. The vault needs her name. Iris stopped breathing. Another voice followed. Logan. The rejection is the final key. Her heart struck painfully against her ribs. Vault? Key. She crouched, pressing one trembling hand into the snow. Logan. The snow answered with another fragment. Once the rejected name is created, begin the outer seal. Iris jerked her hand back. This had never been about Paige. Never about weakness. Never even about replacing her as Luna. Something else had been planned. Something that required her humiliation. Her rejection. Her name. Through the storm came distant lights. Lanterns. Then horses. A black royal carriage emerged from the snow, followed by riders wearing silver and black winter armor. The carriage stopped beside the silent marker. A tall man stepped down. Long dark hair moved across the collar of his coat. His presence carried the quiet pressure of a wolf, powerful enough that lesser alphas instinctively lowered their eyes. Iris recognized him from Northern Coins and Royal Seals. King Everett Hawthorne, Alpha King of Frostvale. His delegation had been expected at the White Lantern Covenant hours earlier. The mountain storm must have delayed them. Everett looked first at Iris, then at Whitehaven's closed gates, then at the snow gathering around her bare ceremonial shoes. His steel-gray eyes hardened. Who inside those walls, he asked, is waiting for the snow to erase you? Iris said nothing. Everett did not come closer. That surprised her. Powerful men usually cross whatever distance they wished. Instead, he remained several steps away while Captain Jonah Keller and the Frostvale witnesses stayed near the carriage. Did Whitehaven place you here against your will? Everett asked. They called it law. That was not my question. Iris looked toward the gate. No, her voice shook from cold. I did not choose this. Everett removed his heavy black mantle. Iris stiffened when he approached, but he stopped beside the silent marker. He laid the mantle on the stone within her reach, then stepped back. May I offer you warmth and shelter? Iris stared at him. What does Frostvale expect in return? Nothing. No oath. No mate claim. No right to my name? None. She almost laughed. Perhaps the cold had made her reckless. And no demand that I become your queen? Something unreadable passed through Everett's eyes. Then he said very quietly, a crown accepted because someone is freezing is not freely chosen. The wind moved between them. Iris looked at the mantle. Then why help me? Because warmth is not ownership. Something inside her cracked. Not dramatically. Not enough to make her cry. Just enough for her to realize how long she had lived among people who made every kindness feel like debt. She lifted the mantle herself. Warmth wrapped around her shoulders. At once the snow beneath her feet glowed pale blue. Whispers exploded around them. The rejected name will open the outer seal. Conrad. Then Logan. Once the vault recognizes her, Paige can carry the false Luna claim. Light burned across Iris's wrist. A silver snowflake appeared upon her skin, enclosed within an open crown and 3 rings. Walter Ames emerged from a neutral trail along the ridge. When he saw the mark, he stopped. The Winter Echo mark. Iris turned. What is happening to me? Walter approached only after she nodded permission. You descend from the Snow Witnesses. I have never heard that name. Most people were never meant to. His face darkened. Snow Witnesses could hear vows, decrees, council bargains, and covenant declarations preserved in winter. Centuries ago, rulers trusted them to prevent powerful families from rewriting history. And later, Walter looked toward Whitehaven. Power rarely enjoys being remembered accurately. The mark on Iris's wrist pulsed. Its rings turned toward Frostvale. Captain Jonah bowed his head. It points toward the kingdom. Iris looked at Everett. So this mark has decided where I belong? No, his answer came instantly. She blinked. Everett continued. It may know where evidence is hidden. It does not know where you belong. And if I refuse Frostvale, I will take you to any neutral sanctuary you name. If I enter your kingdom, you may leave through any gate whenever you wish. Something warm touched a place inside Iris the mantle could not reach. Walter glanced toward Whitehaven. If Conrad understands that her mark awakened, they will accelerate whatever they are doing. What vault were they speaking about? Iris asked. The first winter vault. Walter's voice fell. It lies beneath Whitehaven. And what is inside? The original winter covenant. The names erased from northern records. He paused. And the crown of the first winter. Iris stared at him. They need me to open it. They need your rejected name to open the outer seal. Another whisper moved through the snow. Logan's voice. At dawn, she will belong to no one. Iris's expression changed. Everett heard it too. He offered his hand, but once again stopped before touching her. Iris looked at his palm, then placed her hand into it. Take me to Frost Vale. Everett closed his fingers gently around hers. Until you decide otherwise. Frost Vale did not welcome her with trumpets. Everett had ordered no bells, no court, no curious nobles. Only lanterns lit the eastern gate when the carriage arrived. Healer Miriam Sloane met Iris beneath an old stone arch with Sophie Lane, a young Omega apprentice from the Neutral Archives. Everett placed 3 objects into Iris's palm. An iron key, a silver key, a tiny white bell. Iris looked at them. What are these? Your chamber. He indicated the iron key. The eastern gate. The silver one. And a witness bell. Ring it and you may summon a healer, a neutral elder or an archive witness. Royal guards come only if you request them. Iris stared at the gate key. You are giving me the means to leave your kingdom. Everett met her eyes. Shelter becomes another prison when someone else controls the door. He left before she could answer. Iris changed into a warm cream dress. She should have slept. Instead, the mark on her wrist began pulsing. Miriam brought her beneath Frostvale's northern tower to the Archive of Echoes. Ice-glass cabinets filled the underground chamber. Sophie stopped before a box covered in frost. Eliza Whitaker deposited this 18 years ago. Iris's heart stopped. My mother. She instructed that it remain sealed until the winter echo mark awakened. Iris touched the box. The frost melted. Inside lay a letter. Her mother's handwriting. My beloved Iris, if winter has begun speaking to you, then Whitehaven has already tried to use your name as a key. Iris pressed both hands against the table. For years she had been told Eliza became ill, then died. No one had ever given Iris a grave. The letter continued. The Whitaker women descend from snow witnesses. Winter remembers what powerful men say when they believe no one is listening. Beneath the letter lay a bloodline record. One name appeared among those who had accessed Iris's sealed file. Logan Ashford. 4 years earlier. Only weeks before he began courting her. Iris stared at the date. 4 years. 4 years of winter walks. 4 years of promises. 4 years of him praising her gentleness while knowing exactly what her blood could open. Miriam spread an old map across the table. Silver lines formed a chamber beneath Whitehaven. 3 barriers surrounded it. The outer seal requires the rejected name of a snow witness, Miriam explained. The inner seal requires a false Luna claim carrying that name. Sophie pointed toward the final barrier. The crown door requires the witness's recorded voice. Iris felt sick. Paige. Miriam nodded. Her circlet carries the false Luna claim. And Logan. Alpha authority. Conrad. The ritual. Iris stared at the map. They are using all of us. Yes. The truth hurt differently now. Logan had not rejected her because she lacked value. He had rejected her because he knew exactly how valuable she was. The snow mirror beside the archive suddenly clouded. Conrad's voice emerged. The outer seal has recognized her. Then Logan. Begin the inner seal before dawn. The outer ring on Iris's wrist vanished. She flinched. Everett entered only after Sophie rang the archive bell. He studied the documents in silence. Iris watched him. Why did my mother send these records to Frost Vale? Everett became still. Then he crossed to a sealed cabinet. Inside were 3 decrees carrying the crest of his grandfather. The first authorized the capture of snow witnesses. The second allowed cooperation with Whitehaven to remove witness names from public records. The third named Eliza Whitaker a threat to Northern unity. Iris slowly looked up. Your family helped destroy mine. Yes. No excuse. No softened language. Just the truth. My grandfather believed truth should serve the crown, Everett said. My father discovered what had been done and chose silence because exposing it would weaken Frostvale. And you. Everett placed another decree on the table. His own. The royal seal had been deliberately broken across its center. When I inherited the throne, I abolished every Frostvale claim over Snow witnesses. No ruler may detain, bind, marry, mark, or crown one without freely spoken consent. These archives were transferred from royal ownership to neutral custody. Iris read his signature. Why show me evidence that makes your family look guilty? Everett held her gaze. Because asking you to trust me while hiding what my crown did to your mother would make me no different from Logan. For the first time that night, Iris did not know what to say. Everett turned away from the table. You do not owe me forgiveness for a crime I did not suffer. The mark on her wrist burned. Another ring dimmed. The witness bell rang by itself. Paige's frightened voice came through. Iris, meet me at the roofless chapel. Please. A breath. Come before they make me speak with your voice. Everett looked at Iris. It could be a trap. It could. What do you choose? That question again. Not what should be done. Not what he commanded. What do you choose? Iris closed her hand around the eastern gate key. I'm going. Everett nodded. Then I will get you there safely. Snow fell through the broken roof of the old chapel. Paige stood alone beneath a ruined arch. The silver circlet remained on her head, but she looked nothing like a triumphant Luna. She looked frightened. Miriam entered beside Iris as neutral witness. Everett remained outside. Exactly as promised. Paige looked at Iris. I'm sorry. Iris stopped several feet away. Do not begin with that. Paige swallowed. The first time I questioned Conrad, the circlet took my voice. During Luna preparation, I heard myself speaking words I never chose. What words? Your words. Iris stared at the silver band. A narrow tongue of metal was hidden beneath its inner rim. Why did you agree to replace me? Paige's eyes filled. Because I spent my entire life beside you. Her voice cracked. Everyone trusted Iris. Everyone praised Iris. Everyone said Iris would make the perfect Luna. She looked down. I wanted one room to turn toward me. Iris let the confession sit between them. Wanting to be seen did not give you the right to help erase me. I know. Paige did not ask to be forgiven. Instead, she reached beneath her mantle and removed a thick white book bound with silver cord. The white ledger. Miriam inhaled sharply. Paige placed it on the ruined altar. Conrad made me study the coronation vows. I found your mother's notes hidden beneath the original covenant. Iris touched the book. Silver writing appeared. The original Silent Mile law. Not exile. Not erasure. A temporary separation designed to cool anger so both people could speak without pressure. 30 years ago, Conrad had rewritten it. Under his version, a Luna left outside until dawn could be declared absent by choice. Her silence became consent. Her rejection became a ceremonial key. Another page revealed Diane's guardianship signature, signed after Iris had become an adult. Another showed Logan's involvement in the vault plan, dated before his courtship. Iris's breath stopped. There was no ambiguity left. Logan had approached her because of the vault. The second ring on the winter echo mark disappeared. Paige ripped the circlet from her head. From inside it, she removed the narrow silver tongue, the missing clapper of the truth bell. She placed it into Iris's hand. The circlet has been using this to imitate you. Snow began whispering through the chapel. The crown door waits for the witness bell. Writing appeared across the white ledger. When the stars vanish beneath the ice, ring the bell no king can silence. A map formed. The frozen observatory. Paige looked toward the road. Conrad knows I took the ledger. Come with us, Iris said. Paige shook her head. I have to go back. He will punish you. I know. Why? Paige looked at her. Because I helped put you beyond that gate. Her hands trembled. And I will not hide somewhere warm while they use your name again. Iris felt something loosen. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But perhaps the beginning of a road toward it. I cannot forgive you tonight. Paige nodded. I did not come for forgiveness. She turned toward Whitehaven. Just make them hear the truth. The frozen observatory lay beneath the northern glacier. Only one silver ring remained on Iris's wrist when she entered. At the center of a circular chamber hung a bell with no clapper. Words glowed around its base. Speak your name without title, pack, or blood claim. Iris stared at them. She had been called so many things. Future Luna. Whitaker heir. Logan's mate. Rejected woman. Snow witness. He. She placed one palm against the bell. Iris. Nothing else. The silver tongue tore from her hand and flew into the bell. One clear note filled the glacier. Snow rose from the floor. A woman appeared within it. Chestnut hair threaded with silver. Gentle eyes Iris had dreamed about for 18 years. Mother. Eliza Whitaker's preserved memory looked directly at her. If you are seeing me, they have used your rejection to awaken the vault. Iris could barely breathe. Eliza revealed everything. She had discovered Conrad altering covenant records. Frostvale's old king had supported him. Lunas disappeared from ledgers. Witnesses were confined. Silence became agreement. Eliza tried to expose them. Whitehaven imprisoned her under false guardianship. Diane was told that Eliza was ill. Iris was told her mother had died. In truth, Eliza survived for years in confinement before secretly placing her evidence into winter memory. The bell rang. Voices filled the chamber. Conrad. Logan will reject her before the witnesses. Logan. And if she refuses the confession? The silent mile creates the rejected name. Diane. You promised the Whitaker estate would remain untouched. Conrad. If you remain silent. Then Logan again. Paige wants to be chosen. She will be easier to guide. Tears finally reached Iris's face. Not because she was weak. Because there was no lie left to hold back the pain. Eliza's image softened. No ruler may speak for you. The memory began fading. Carry the truth bell back to Whitehaven. Let the same witnesses who watched them erase you hear what was hidden. Mother. Iris. Eliza smiled. Do not spend your life proving you deserve the place they denied you. Snow moved around her. Choose a place worthy of you. The memory vanished. Silence remained. Iris stood before the bell with tears cooling against her cheeks. Everett was behind her. But he did not touch her. Did not tell her to be strong. Did not interrupt her grief. Eventually Iris turned. If we return, there will be no Frostvale army. Agreed. No royal banners. Agreed. You will not speak for me. I will not. If a crown appears, you do not touch it unless I ask. You have my word. She studied him. And if I refuse every title? Everett stepped closer, but left a final distance between them. Then you leave with your name, your freedom, and no debt to me. Iris's throat tightened. Why are you making this so easy? His expression changed. It is not easy. For the first time, something personal entered his voice. I have wanted to touch you since the moment you put your hand in mine on that road. Iris went still. Everett gave a faint, almost painful smile. Wanting something does not make it mine. Her heartbeat changed. He continued. My wolf recognized something in you before I knew your name. Perhaps fate. Perhaps only a woman standing in a storm who refused to lie for people who had abandoned her. His gaze did not leave hers. But whatever it is, I will not use destiny to steal a choice from you. Iris looked at him for a long moment. Then she stepped forward. Not enough to touch him, but enough that the distance belonged to neither fear nor rank. Get me back to Whitehaven. Everett inclined his head. Yes. She reached for his hand first. And Everett? He looked down at their joined fingers. If we survive dawn, she paused. For once, do not assume you already know what I will choose. Something warm entered his eyes. I would not dare. The northern gates of Whitehaven opened less than half an hour before sunrise. Iris entered the White Lantern Hall wearing Everett's black mantle over her cream dress. The contrast did not escape anyone. Hours earlier, she had left that hall rejected and dressed in white. Now she returned wrapped in the Alpha King's colors. But Everett did not walk before her. He walked several steps to her left. No banners. No royal guard formation. No announcement. Iris entered by her own name. Paige stood beside the vault passage. Her circlet was gone. Diane sat near the family bench. Logan waited beneath the northern crest. Conrad stood before the turning inner seal. When he saw Iris, fury broke through his composure. You have no authority here. Elder Walter raised the emblem of neutral judgment. You invoked Winter Covenant authority when you used the Silent Mile. You do not get to summon its power and reject its judgment. Miriam placed the Truth Bell beside the Winter Bell. The white ledger opened. Iris rested one hand upon the silver surface. The bell rang. Snow entered through the arches. Then the voices began. Conrad. Logan will reject her before the witnesses. Logan. The Silent Mile creates the rejected name. Diane. You promised the estate would remain untouched. Logan again. Paige wants to be chosen. She will be easier to guide. The hall erupted. Logan's face lost color. Walter opened the Bloodline record. You accessed Iris Whittaker's sealed file 4 years ago, before your courtship. Do you deny it? Every eye turned toward Logan. He looked at Iris. For one fleeting second she saw the man she had loved. Then he answered. No, the word cut the final thread. Iris's voice remained quiet. Did you ever intend to tell me? Logan's jaw tightened. I intended to protect Whitehaven from power no Luna should hold over an alpha. The snow darkened above him. Iris looked at him. You did not fear my weakness. She stepped closer. You feared my memory. I loved you. Iris almost smiled. It hurt too much to become one. You loved the version of me that could open your vault and remain silent afterward. Logan flinched. Paige stepped forward. I surrender the false Luna claim. Conrad spun toward her. Put the circlet back on. No, her voice shook, but remained hers. Diane rose. I signed the guardianship renewal because Conrad threatened to seize the Whittaker estate. Iris looked at her. You protected the house. Diane's eyes filled. And left me outside it. The Truth Bell preserved her confession. Conrad slammed his signet into the crown door. Enough. A deep chime moved through the floor. All sound vanished. The wind. The witnesses. The bells. Even breath. Dawn silence. The final silver ring disappeared from Iris's wrist. Her name began fading from the white ledger. Conrad smiled. At sunrise, Winter will remember Paige as Luna. His voice seemed to come from the vault itself. And Iris Whittaker as no one. Everett stepped forward. Iris raised one hand. Stop. He stopped. Immediately. No argument. No heroic intervention. No king taking the final moment from her. Iris placed both palms against the Truth Bell. Nothing. Her name faded further. Iris closed her eyes. She remembered Whitehaven's gate closing behind her. Logan's voice beneath the snow. The rejection is the final key. She remembered Everett leaving his mantle within reach. Warmth is not ownership. Her mother beneath the glacier. No ruler may speak for you. Iris opened her eyes. I did not leave Whitehaven freely. The bell remained silent. The Silent Mile did not speak for me. A silver line appeared beneath her hands. My absence was not consent. The line brightened. My aunt's fear did not give her ownership of my name. The bell trembled. Paige's envy did not make her voice mine. Snow began moving. And Logan's love did not give him the right to turn me into a key. The white ledger stopped fading. Conrad's expression changed. You are nothing without the covenant. Iris looked at him. No, her voice was almost a whisper. The covenant is nothing without truth. She lifted her chin. Even if the snow forgets me. A breath. I will remember myself. The Truth Bell rang. One note. Clear. Massive. Unbreakable. Snow exploded through the hall. Names appeared inside every falling flake. Forgotten Lunas. Erased Omegas. Betas stripped from family histories. Witnesses silenced by kings. Women whose absence had been recorded as agreement. People who had once been reduced to empty spaces in ledgers. The winter echo mark returned to Iris's wrist. 1 ring. 2. 3. The altered Silent Mile law vanished from the white ledger. The original words returned. The crown door opened. Silver light flooded the hall. Conrad staggered backward. Walter raised the Covenant emblem. Chancellor Conrad Vale is removed from office pending judgment. The next decree. Diane Whittaker's false guardianship is void. Then, Logan Ashford's Alpha authority is suspended pending full Northern review. No one challenged him. Inside the open vault, something began to rise. A crown. Silver branches curved upward like winter trees. Tiny stars of ice burned between them. The crown of the first winter. Every person in the hall fell silent. One by one, representatives of the Northern Pack stepped forward. Not because Everett commanded them, because the restored covenant required them to speak individually. I recognize Iris Whittaker as Snow Witness. Another. I recognize her name as freely held. Another. I recognize her authority as Keeper of the Winter Covenant. Each declaration entered the falling snow. No chains. No stolen voices. No shadows. The crown hovered above the open vault. Everett did not move. He waited. Iris looked at him. For most of her life, men had told her what her silence meant. Logan had interpreted her patience as obedience. Conrad had interpreted absence as consent. The council had interpreted kindness as weakness. Everett interpreted nothing. He waited for her to speak. Iris stepped toward him. Everett Hawthorne. The Alpha King met her eyes. Come here. Only then did he move. He stopped before her. The crown of the first winter floated between them. Iris looked around the hall. At Paige. Diane. At Logan. At the people who had watched her walk into the snow believing she would return smaller. Then she looked at Everett. When you found me tonight, I had no title. You had a name. When I entered Frostvale, you gave me a key to leave. A door is not freedom if only I can open it. When you learned what I was, you did not claim me. Everett's voice softened. You were never mine to claim. Iris felt the first light of dawn touch the open arches. And now. Everett held her gaze. Now you are Iris Whittaker. A pause. Keeper of the Winter Covenant. His eyes warmed. And the woman I would choose if she chose me. Something moved through the room. Not shock. Something quieter. More intimate. Iris stepped closer. Then asked me. For the first time all night, Everett looked surprised. Only for a heartbeat. Then the Alpha King went down on one knee. Not because she was weak. Not because she needed rescuing. Because he understood exactly where power should kneel. Before choice. The entire White Lantern Hall stopped breathing. Everett looked up at her. Iris Whittaker. His voice carried through the falling snow. I will not ask you to surrender the Winter Covenant to Frost Vale. I will not ask you to become smaller so my crown appears larger. I will not promise never to fail you. His expression became almost painfully open. But I promise that when I fail, your voice will never become disobedient simply because it disagrees with mine. Iris's eyes burned. Everett continued. Will you choose to stand beside me? Not beneath my throne. Not behind my name. Beside me. His gaze held hers. As Queen of Frost Vale. A tear slipped down Iris's cheek. Hours ago, another Alpha had commanded her to surrender Aluna Vale. Now the most powerful Alpha in the north knelt before her and waited. No spell forced an answer. No mark burned her skin. No counsel interpreted her silence. Iris spoke for herself. Yes. The word entered the snow. The winter echo mark blazed. Everett did not rise. Iris smiled through her tears. Yes, Everett Hawthorne. Her voice strengthened. I choose the winter crown. She looked at the restored name circling the hall. I choose the duty that comes with it. Then she looked back at him. And I choose you. The first ray of sunrise crossed the floor. Stand up. Everett rose. The crown of the first winter descended into his waiting hands. He looked at Iris one final time. May I? Iris smiled. Crown me. Everett lifted the silver branches. Everyone watched. Logan most of all. The man who had rejected Iris as unworthy to become Luna now stood powerless beneath the northern crest. Everett placed the crown of the first winter upon Iris's head. Silver light spread through the hall. Snow turned gold in the dawn. The Alpha King's voice filled Whitehaven. Before every pack gathered here. His hands lowered slowly. I crown Iris Whittaker Queen. His gaze never left hers. My queen. Then he added, never my possession. His voice softened. My equal. The winter bell rang. This time Iris pulled the rope herself. A brilliant note swept across the northern territories. Outside, Whitehaven's gates opened. Not to exile someone, to return names. Everett offered Iris his hand. She looked at it, then at him. You realize, she murmured, that I intend to disagree with you quite often. The corner of Everett's mouth lifted. I was beginning to hope so. She placed her hand in his. The mark on her wrist opened like a silver flower between them. Not a chain. Not ownership. A bond answering two freely spoken choices. Behind them, Logan whispered her name. Iris heard him. She did not turn around. Some doors were meant to remain behind you. A year later, snow fell across the hall of returned names. The old Silent Mile law had been destroyed. No Luna could be exiled as part of a mating ceremony. No person's absence could be recorded as consent. No mate bond remained lawful after either person withdrew their choice. Every major covenant required alpha, beta, and omega witnesses. And snow witnesses belonged to no ruler. Not even a king who loved one. Paige worked among the archives restoring names erased from family histories. Iris had not forgotten what she had done. Forgiveness had come slowly. Not as a gift Paige demanded, but as something she earned through hundreds of ordinary choices. Diane helped families recover property stolen through false guardianship. Her relationship with Iris remained imperfect. Some wounds did not vanish because apologies arrived, but truth gave them somewhere honest to begin. Conrad was judged using the very words he believed Winter had hidden. Logan lost his authority. Months later he sent Iris one letter. Only one. He admitted that he had mistaken control for protection. That page had never stolen Iris from him. He had lost her himself, the moment he decided her voice was dangerous because it could contradict his own. Iris placed the letter in the archive, then closed the drawer. Everett never asked what it said. Their marriage had not transformed him into a perfect man. Sometimes royal habits surfaced. Sometimes he gave orders too quickly. Sometimes Iris corrected him in front of his own council. The first time it happened, the entire room had gone silent. Everett had stared at her, then asked, "What would you do instead?" Afterward, alone in the corridor, Iris had laughed. "You frightened 12 counselors." He had raised an eyebrow. "They were looking at you." Spring brought leaks to the archive roof. The Alpha King spent 2 mornings carrying timber beside ordinary workers while Iris mocked the white dust covering his black coat. Summer brought arguments over border taxes. Autumn brought their first great disagreement over whether Frostvale should intervene in another pack's succession crisis. They went to sleep angry. They woke still married. No one banished anyone into the snow. That, Iris discovered, was its own kind of miracle. On the anniversary of the winter judgment, they returned to Whitehaven. The hall was filled again. But this time Iris wore the crown of the first winter because she wanted it. Everett stood beside her wearing Frostvale silver. Walter brought forward the renewed covenant. "Your Majesties." Iris raised one brow. Walter smiled. "Your independently sovereign Majesties." A few people laughed. Iris looked toward the open northern gates. Beyond them, the silent marker still stood. She had refused to destroy it. Instead, new words had been carved into its stone. No one's silence speaks for them. Everett followed her gaze. "Do you ever wish that night had never happened?" Iris considered the question. "No," he looked surprised. "I wish they had not hurt me." Her fingers found his. "I wish my mother had lived." Her voice softened. "I wish Paige had asked me the truth before taking my place." Then Iris looked toward the king who had found her half frozen beside that stone. "But I do not wish to become the woman I was before it happened." Everett squeezed her hand. What woman was that? One who thought being chosen was the same as being valued. He said nothing. Iris smiled. "That night Logan rejected me because he thought my voice made me dangerous." Snow drifted through the open gate. "And before dawn, another king listened long enough for me to choose myself." Everett leaned closer. "And after that?" Iris looked at the crown reflected in his steel-gray eyes. "After that," she kissed him softly. "I chose the king. Outside, the snow carried hundreds of restored names across the morning sky. And among them was Iris Whitaker. Not erased. Not owned. Not rescued into another cage. A rejected Luna who had walked into the snow with nothing but her name. And by dawn, the Alpha King had crowned her his queen.